Hey guys, Abner Miranda here. I keep a file in my phone of different videos that I want to work on. One of the ones that I've been just sort of shushing further and further down the list because I wasn't really sure how to broach the subject was people keep asking why I do this or that in my videos, and that goes back to people either not having the ability or not wanting to go to training. Training is where you learn what you will do under stress. People want to be given answers to questions without putting in the work. The problem is they literally don't know what they don't know. Because I do so much training, I'm able to absolutely say without equivocation how I behave under stress. Very recently something happened to me from a medical standpoint, and the doctor asked me a very direct question. He said, "How do you know that it was less than a minute from the beginning to the end of symptoms?" And I said, "Because I know my body under stress, because I absolutely know who I am under stress." After that event, I went to the same stretch of road that I was on the night that that event happened to me. I drove the same exact stretch of road on the same exact speed because I know that stretch of road and I know the speed that I drive on it. And I was from point A to point B, 55.76 seconds. I knew that it was under 60 seconds because I know who I am under stress. And the only way that I've learned how to do that is right here on the range. I've learned who I am when I'm majorly juiced up on adrenaline. I know that tachypsychia kicks in. I know that my mental ability to record time is skewed. Therefore, I subconsciously know that I have to look for other markers and cues around me so that I can properly gauge time. I also know that I need at least one sleep cycle to properly categorize everything. Where have I learned that? On the range. There is no YouTube channel, there is no article, there is no blog, there is no vlog that's going to tell you who you are under stress. The only way you're ever going to learn that is to get out to a class, pick an instructor, vet them properly so that you're not training with some joker. When you find yourself in a high-stress position, point where you have to reach for a firearm to do something, if you know who you are under stress and you know how to handle a firearm safely, and you know what you're doing with a relatively high level of competency with that firearm, you're going to be able to do 90% of what you've got to do by rote memory because you've spent so much time working with one firearm, memorizing how to work with that firearm, knowing how to stand, what to do, where to look, how to look around corners. You're going to know all those things, and all you're going to have to remember is what occurred. Instead of being in a desperate mode where you're trying to say, well, how do I hold this? Where do I put my fingers? What's my proper stance? When I point trigger, I depress the trigger so far before it breaks. In 2004, when I was a police officer, I got involved in something where we had to go head-to-head with a guy that we knew had a handgun. And I drew my Glock 22 with I think it was a M3, I mean, that ought to tell you how long ago it was. I remember drawing the pistol, turning the light on, placing my finger on the trigger, and squeezing back and holding. And because I'd spent thousands and thousands of rounds on the range practicing squeezing back on my trigger and holding, that young man is alive today because the Holy Spirit took the opportunity to whisper in my ear that he thought I was pointing a flashlight at him and not a pistol. And because I had the discipline to not pull that trigger the rest of the way, I was able to back off, and he's alive. That was because I spent so much time practicing with my firearms. I knew who I was under stress, even then. I knew who I was under stress, and I knew my weapons. That's what I've got for you guys today. As always, God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one.